Silence is often misunderstood. In a world that constantly encourages people to speak up, defend themselves, and react instantly, choosing silence can seem like passivity or weakness, but the truth is far deeper. When someone disrespects you, be it through words, actions, or subtle gestures, your first instinct might be to respond, to strike back, or to make your side of the story heard. But in that very moment, silence becomes your strongest weapon. It's not just a lack of words. It's a deliberate act of control, a decision to conserve your energy and maintain your dignity, rather than spill it at the feet of someone who tried to pull you down. When someone disrespects you, they are attempting to provoke a reaction. That disrespect is rarely about you. It's more about their own insecurities, frustrations, or desire for control. When you respond, especially with anger or emotional outburst, you give them exactly what they were looking for. You hand over your peace. But when you stay quiet, you protect your emotional reserves. You shield your mental space from their chaos. You hold your energy like a shield, refusing to let it be drained by someone who isn't worth the cost. Silence, in this context, becomes a form of emotional intelligence. Every time you react to disrespect, you spend something valuable. You spend your focus, you spend your peace of mind. You spend your time replaying the moment in your head, wondering if you should have said more, done more. That mental loop drains your energy. But when you choose silence, you step out of the loop. You refuse to let that moment define your day or your worth. Your silence tells your mind, we're not going to dwell on this. We have better places to invest our energy. Dignity is not loud. It doesn't announce itself in every room. It doesn't shout over insults or compete with ignorance. Dignity is quiet. It's knowing who you are and what you stand for, even when others try to shake it. When someone disrespects you, responding with anger may feel like justice, but often it lowers you to their level. It drags you into a place where your character can be questioned, your motives misunderstood, your words twisted. But silence removes all of that. It leaves no ammunition. It holds the high ground. It shows that your self-worth is not up for debate. Silence also gives you power over your own narrative. When you don't react, you stay in control of how you will respond later, if at all. You're not cornered by the heat of the moment. You're not a puppet pulled by emotion. You observe. You reflect. You decide when and how to respond, if it's necessary. Sometimes you'll find that the disrespect isn't even worth addressing. Other times your silence will speak volumes on its own. People notice when someone refuses to be rattled. They respect the calm in the storm. And often, the disrespectful person is left uncomfortable by your stillness, unsure of what power you're holding behind your silence. Holding onto your energy and dignity doesn't mean you don't feel hurt. Disrespect cuts deep, especially when it comes from someone close, or in public, or in a situation where you cannot defend yourself freely. But even then, silence can be a place of healing. It allows you to process the pain without adding more chaos. It gives you time to understand your emotions, to decide what truly matters, and to choose a response that aligns with your values. It's a pause that protects your inner world, a moment where you say to yourself, I am worth more than this moment of disrespect. There's a certain type of confidence that comes with silence. It's the confidence of someone who knows they don't need to prove anything. It's the strength of a person who understands that their reaction is a reflection of themselves, not of the person who tried to offend them. When you stay quiet after disrespect, you are not letting the other person win. You're simply refusing to play a losing game. You're showing that your peace is not for sale, that your worth is not dependent on public approval, that your dignity is not something that can be touched by someone else's bad behavior. In many ways, silence is an act of rebellion against a world that expects noise. Social media, arguments, public confrontations, they all reward reaction. But silence? It goes against the current. It takes courage to be quiet when someone's trying to provoke you. It takes discipline to hold back when every part of you wants to scream. But that discipline builds character. That restraint builds inner strength. And the longer you practice it, the more you begin to value your peace over your pride. You realize that not every insult deserves your attention. Not every opinion deserves a rebuttal. Not every battle is worth fighting. Silence is also a mirror. It reflects back to the disrespectful person their own behavior. When you don't respond, they're left alone with their words, their actions, their guilt. There's no escape in blaming your reaction, no distraction in your defense. Just them and the truth of what they did. Sometimes that silence becomes the lesson. Sometimes it makes them think deeper than your words ever could. Not always, but that's not the point. The point is, you've protected your own soul in the process. You've walked away with your head held high, your dignity intact, and your energy untouched. It's easy to misunderstand silence. People may think you're weak, scared, or indifferent, but real silence, the kind that comes from strength, not fear, is one of the most powerful statements you can make. It says, I am above this. I am not playing this game. I will not let you define me. And even if no one else sees that strength, you will. You will feel it in the calm that follows. You will feel it in the clarity you gain. You will feel it when you sleep peacefully, knowing you didn't lower yourself, didn't waste your spirit, didn't sacrifice your dignity for a moment of revenge. When you stay quiet after disrespect, you're not avoiding conflict, you're choosing peace. You're choosing to rise above instead of sink below. You're showing that your response is a privilege, not a reflex. That your silence isn't empty. It's full of self-control, full of awareness, full of inner strength. When someone disrespects you, there's a natural impulse to react. The adrenaline kicks in, your heart races. Your mind rushes to come up with the perfect comeback, the sharpest reply, or even the loudest scream. But in that moment, you're not in control, they are. The moment you react, you shift the power from yourself to the offender. You give them exactly what they wanted, your attention, your energy, your focus. What may seem like a defensive, your pride becomes, in reality, a surrender of your inner strength. Reactions, especially emotional ones, become a reward for those who try to provoke you. People who disrespect others often do so to assert control, to push buttons, to watch someone unravel. Their goal is rarely to make a valid point or express genuine concern. It's about dominance. It's about watching you break your calm. When you react, you validate their efforts. You show them that their words or actions were effective, that they got to you. And once they see that power, they'll keep coming back for more. Disrespectful people feed off the energy of others. The more you give them, the more they grow. Your reaction becomes their fuel, and your peace becomes their playground. The world often teaches us to fight fire with fire. If someone raises their voice, raise yours higher. If someone insults you, hit back twice as hard. But in reality, fire doesn't extinguish fire, it spreads it. When you react emotionally to someone's disrespect, you're not solving anything. You're escalating it. You're entering their arena where chaos reigns and logic disappears. They wanted to see you flustered, angry, thrown off your game. And when you step into that state, they win. Not because they were right, but because they shifted your balance. Because they pulled you down to their level. Every reaction you give is a signal. It tells others how easily you can be manipulated, how quickly you can be thrown off center. It teaches them your triggers. Once they learn what gets to you, they'll keep using it against you. Whether it's in personal relationships, the workplace, or social situations, the person who keeps their cool holds the real power. Because once you react, you're not operating from your own values, you're reacting to theirs. You lose your grip on your thoughts. You let them write your script. They act and you respond. They speak and you defend. That's not strength. That's control, just not yours. Reactions also distort your intentions. You may be trying to defend yourself, but a heated reaction can make you appear guilty, unstable, or immature. The more emotional your response, the easier it is for others to twist your words, take things out of context, or paint you as the aggressor. Suddenly, the focus is no longer on the original disrespect, but on how you handled it. The offender walks away clean, and you're left justifying your actions. By reacting, you often become the subject of scrutiny. While the real issue gets buried under noise, there's also a heavy price to pay internally. Reacting emotionally drains your energy. It leaves you exhausted mentally and physically. After The moment passes, you replay it in your mind, analyzing what you said, what you should have said, how it looked, how others perceived it. That cycle wears you down. It takes away your focus from things that actually matter. And the worst part is, the person who disrespected you probably isn't thinking about it at all. They've moved on while you're stuck carrying the emotional burden of a moment they created. That's the power of reaction. It ties your peace to someone else's actions. In some cases, the person offending you might be intentionally baiting you. They might be waiting for you to stop, to make a mistake, to do something that can be used against you. In a professional environment, this could mean damaging your reputation. In personal relationships, it could mean shifting blame. And in public, it could mean becoming a spectacle. But if you don't react, if you stay composed, you deny them that opportunity. You protect your image, your dignity, and your momentum. You show that your emotions are not available for public manipulation, that you are not an open book for anyone to scribble on. Power lies in response, not reaction. A response is thought out, it's measured. It's aligned with your goals and values. But a reaction is impulsive. It's driven by ego, fear, or anger. It doesn't consider the long-term effects, only the immediate relief. And that relief is short-lived. Because after the reaction comes regret. The words you can't take back. The look on people's faces. The reputation that takes a hit. And all of it could have been avoided by choosing stillness over noise. When you don't react, you reclaim your space. You let the offender sit with their actions while you sit with your peace. You maintain the upper hand, not out of arrogance, but out of discipline. You show others that you are not easily shaken, that your sense of self isn't up for debate, that you are not here to dance to someone else's tune. Silence or a calm non-reaction becomes a quiet declaration of strength. It says, I know what you're trying to do, and I refuse to participate. Holding back your reaction doesn't mean you're okay with being disrespected. It means you're choosing a smarter route. It means you're picking your battles, choosing your timing, and protecting your peace. You don't owe everyone an explanation. You don't have to defend yourself at every turn. Sometimes the best way to handle disrespect is to let your success speak for you. To let your growth, your confidence, your unbothered energy do the talking. Because the truth is, when people realize they can't control you, when they see their words have no impact, they lose interest, they move on. They look for easier targets. Reactions give away your boundaries. They show where your walls are soft, where you can be pushed, where you're emotionally available to be hurt. But when you remain composed, you stay unpredictable. No one knows what you're thinking, what you're planning, how you feel. That mystery is power. That restraint is power. And that power belongs to you, not to the person who tried to insult you. Sometimes, the people who try to provoke you are struggling with their own issues. They want to project their pain, their bitterness, their insecurity onto others. When you react, you absorb that energy. You take on something that was never yours to carry. But when you don't react, you let it pass through you. You leave it where it belongs with them. You don't accept the emotional package they're trying to deliver. You keep your spirit clean, unpolluted by their poison. Reactions are loud. They make noise, stir emotions, attract attention, but silence is surgical. It cuts deeper. It unsettles the offender because it gives them nothing to latch onto. No fuel, no drama, no satisfaction. It's like trying to fight the wind. They lash out, expecting a storm, but all they get is calm. And that calm unnerves them more than any comeback ever could, because it shows that you are in control, and that their disrespect did not even deserve a fraction of your energy. Self-control is one of the most powerful traits a person can possess. In the face of disrespect, provocation, or injustice, the instinct to retaliate is deeply human. It feels justified, immediate, and emotionally satisfying. But those moments, when your pride is hurt and your emotions are on edge, are the true tests of character. What separates the strong from the weak isn't how loud they respond, but how calm they remain. Self-control is not the absence of feeling. It's the mastery of response. It's choosing to act from a place of wisdom rather than impulse, and in doing so, It speaks volumes, often louder than any act of retaliation ever could. Retaliation is rooted in ego. It screams, "I won't let you get away with that," or "I need to show my strength." But real strength is not proven through emotional outbursts or physical confrontation. It is proven through restraint. Self-control shows that you're not governed by others' actions. It shows that you are not a puppet pulled by insults or provocation. You maintain your ground, not through revenge, but through your ability to rise above it. While retaliation may win the moment, self-control wins the bigger picture. It commands respect, even from those who sought to diminish you. When someone tries to hurt you, insult you, or disrespect you, they often seek a reaction. They want to see if they can pull you out of character. They want to rattle your confidence, stir your emotions, and make you lose control. When you retaliate, you confirm that they succeeded. You show that they had access to your emotions and that they were able to disrupt your inner balance. But when you respond with self-control, you demonstrate that their words or actions have no power over you. You are centered, steady, and unbothered. That silent strength is intimidating. It unsettles those who expected chaos and got calm instead. Self-control builds respect in ways that retaliation never can. Retaliation often damages relationships, reputations, and opportunities. It can make you seem impulsive, aggressive, or immature. Even if you are in the right, your reaction can become the focus, overshadowing the original offense. People remember how you handled the pressure. They watch your response more than the insult. But when you respond with control, grace, and discipline, you gain respect not just from others, but from yourself. You walk away knowing you stayed true to who you are, that you didn't let someone else's actions define yours. In moments of conflict, people look for leadership. They look for someone who can remain calm under pressure. Self-control positions you as that person. It shows emotional maturity. It shows that you think before you act, that you understand consequences, and that you value peace over pride. This doesn't mean being passive or weak. It means choosing battles wisely, timing your words carefully, and acting with purpose. Retaliation may bring instant gratification, but self-control brings lasting impact. It creates space for clarity, dialogue, and growth, rather than escalation and regret. Retaliation often stems from a need to be seen, to be heard, to be validated. But self-control comes from within. It doesn't seek approval. It's based on internal values and a strong sense of identity. You don't need to shout to prove your worth. You don't need to react to prove you were wronged. You already know who you are, and that knowledge is enough. That quiet confidence, that unwavering presence, sends a message stronger than any words. It tells the world, I'm not moved by negativity. I'm not dragged down by disrespect. I am in control of me. No matter what others do. In personal relationships, self-control can be the difference between repair and ruin. A heated argument can spiral quickly when both parties retaliate. Words are said that can't be taken back. Emotions explode and bridges burn. But if even one person in that moment holds back, listens, breathes, and chooses a calmer path, the whole dynamic can shift. Self-control diffuses tension. It opens the door to understanding. It allows space for resolution rather than retaliation. It doesn't mean you accept mistreatment. It means you address it with clarity, not chaos. That approach builds stronger bonds and deeper respect. Self-control also has a profound impact on your mental health. When you react impulsively, you often carry guilt, regret, or frustration afterward. You replay the moment, wishing you'd done things differently. But when you act with control, you maintain inner peace. You don't waste energy justifying your actions or cleaning up emotional messes. You protect your mental space. You stay focused on your goals, your growth, your path. You become harder to disturb, harder to manipulate, and harder to throw off course. That level of stability is powerful. It makes you a force, calm and consistent in the long run. Self-control creates a legacy. People remember those who remain steady in storms. They admire those who didn't fall into petty arguments or emotional traps. They are drawn to those who lead with strength, not noise. Retaliation may make headlines in the moment, but self-control leaves a lasting impression. It defines your character. It becomes part of your story, the story of someone who chose discipline over drama, purpose over pride in situations of injustice. Self-control doesn't mean silence or passivity. It means channeling your response into something greater. It means turning your energy into action, your pain into purpose. It means standing up for yourself and others without resorting to the same tactics used against you. That kind of response shakes systems. It challenges norms. It commands change. Retaliation may shout, but self-control moves mountains because it's strategic. Focused and grounded. Self-control is a reflection of self-awareness. You understand your triggers. You know your values. You've built a solid foundation within yourself, so when disrespect comes, you don't fall. You stand firm. You know that your response says more about you than the original offense. That understanding fuels your restraint. It empowers you to walk away when needed, to speak up when necessary, and to act only when the time is right. That awareness is what gives self-control its true power. When others witness self-control in action, it inspires them. It shows a better way. It proves that you don't have to respond with anger to be strong. You don't have to fight to be respected. You don't have to lose yourself to stand up for yourself. You can be calm and commanding, quiet and powerful, gentle and firm. That balance is rare. That balance is what makes self-control so impactful. Retaliation often closes doors. It shuts down communication. It burns bridges. But self-control keeps possibilities alive. It leaves room for healing, learning, and reconciliation. It shows that you are driven by vision, not vengeance. That you are building something bigger than a moment of pride. You're building your future, and you're doing it with patience, discipline, and integrity. Every moment you choose self-control over retaliation, you strengthen yourself. You prove, over and over again, that your power is yours alone, not something others can provoke or take away. That is the kind of strength that transforms you. That is the kind of strength that speaks louder than any act of revenge ever could.